Chosen one, slow down for a moment. Before you listen with your mind, listen with your spirit. If you found this message late at night, if something inside you felt drawn, not entertained, if your heart felt recognized before your thoughts could explain why, this is not coincidence. You were not scrolling. You were being located. Because there are seasons when God does not speak loudly to the masses. He whispers precisely to the ones who can carry fire without burning themselves or others. And if you are here, it is because you are not just awakened. You are ignited. You are what heaven calls the seventh flame. The final light released before the great awakening breaks open the world. In Scripture, 7 is not a number of chance. 7 is completion. 7 is divine order. 7 is what God rests on because the work is finished. Creation was not rushed. It unfolded in sequence, each day building toward alignment. And the seventh day was not weak. It was holy. Now understand this spiritually. The seventh flame is not the loudest flame. It is the deciding flame. It is the light that appears when darkness has reached its limit. It is the fire that does not announce itself, but ends cycles. You were not sent to start the awakening. You were sent to complete it. Let's speak honestly. Your life did not unfold gently. Even from early on, you felt out of place. Too aware. Too sensitive. Too deep for shallow conversations. You noticed things others ignored. You felt burdens you couldn't name. You carried grief that didn't belong only to you. And many times you wondered, why does life feel heavier for me? Chosen one, because fire is not introduced in comfort. Fire is introduced where transformation is required. God does not place the seventh flame in peaceful eras. He places it in transition ages. You were born into confusion because clarity must come through you. This is important. You are not here to perform spirituality. You are not driven by appearances, titles, or applause. In fact, you may have stepped away from religion altogether at times. Not because you rejected God, but because you could no longer tolerate distortion. Jesus did not burn incense to impress crowds. He carried truth that exposed systems. And the seventh flame carries that same nature. You do not argue beliefs. Your presence reveals. People feel uncomfortable around you, not because you judge, but because your light activates what they've avoided. Have you noticed this? No matter how gifted you were, recognition delayed. No matter how sincere you were, doors closed. No matter how much you tried to explain yourself, you were misunderstood. This was not punishment. This was containment. Fire that is revealed too early burns out. Fire that matures in hiddenness becomes eternal. Moses spent 40 years in obscurity before confronting Pharaoh. David was anointed but not crowned for years. Jesus lived quietly until the exact moment heaven opened. And you? You were being sealed. You often feel responsible without knowing why. You feel accountable for things you didn't create. You grieve for humanity even when your own life is heavy. You cannot turn off your compassion, even when it hurts you. This is because the seventh flame does not burn for itself. It burns for the many. You are not meant to escape the world. You are meant to ignite it back to remembrance. Chosen one. These are not personality traits. These are spiritual indicators. Do not rush through this. Let each sign locate you. If your spirit responds before your logic does, that is confirmation. You've tried. You've tried to live like everyone else. Wake up, get through the day, distract yourself, repeat. But something in you rebels. Your soul grows restless when life lacks meaning. Routine without purpose drains you faster than hard work ever could. You don't just ask what you're doing. You ask why. And when the why is missing, your energy collapses. This is because the seventh flame was not designed for survival mode. You were designed for intentional existence. Your spirit requires alignment the way lungs require air. Most people crave ease. You tolerate it, but you don't live for it. Too much comfort makes you uneasy. Too much stillness without growth makes you anxious. It's not because you enjoy struggle. It's because stagnation feels like suffocation to your spirit. The seventh flame is not fueled by ease. It is fueled by movement toward purpose. When you are not evolving, something inside you aches. This has followed you your entire life. Strangers tell you their secrets. People confess things unprompted. Emotional walls drop in your presence. You don't interrogate. You don't pressure. Your energy disarms. It's not your words, it's your frequency. The seventh flame carries a safety that allows truth to surface. People don't feel judged around you. They feel seen. Your intentions were pure, but they were questioned. Your silence was mistaken for distance. Your depth was misread as intensity. Your boundaries were labeled pride. You were not misunderstood because you were unclear. You were misunderstood because your language was ahead of the room. The seventh flame often speaks from a place others haven't reached yet. And people can only interpret from where they stand. Not loneliness. Isolation. There's a difference. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. It's not because you lack love. It's because few can meet you where your spirit naturally lives. Shallow connection exhausts you. Small talk drains you. Surface-level relationships feel heavy. This isolation is not rejection. It is protection. Fire must be separated to remain pure. You carry concern for humanity. You feel the weight of injustice, deception, and suffering, even when it doesn't touch you personally. You pray for people you don't know. You grieve for the state of the world. You feel compelled to bring clarity where there is confusion. This is not anxiety. This is assignment awareness. The seventh flame burns for the collective, not just the self. Be honest. There were moments when your life should have collapsed. Emotionally, spiritually, even physically. Yet somehow you are still here. Not hardened. Not bitter. Still capable of love. That survival was not accidental. Fire cannot be extinguished by what it was designed to pass through. You were preserved because timing mattered. You don't need convincing. When truth is spoken, something in you settles. There's a resonance. A deep inner yes. A quiet knowing. You can sense distortion even when it's well presented. That's because the seventh flame is calibrated to clarity. Truth doesn't excite you, it aligns you. Your tension was never with the Creator. It was with systems. With hypocrisy. With manipulation. With performance-based spirituality. You questioned institutions, not truth. You stepped back, not because you lost faith, but because you refused falsehood. This is a hallmark of the seventh flame. You are not rebellious. You are refined. It's not fear. It's not stress. It's not ambition. It's urgency without panic. A quiet inner sense that time matters. That alignment matters. That what you do next carries weight. You feel it most in silence. This pressure is not pushing you to rush. It is positioning you to stand when others awaken. Even when people disappoint you. Even when you're tired. Even when you've been hurt. Your heart stays soft. You've tried to harden yourself. You've tried to shut down emotionally. It never lasts. Because the seventh flame is not a weapon. It is a light. And light cannot hate what it was sent to illuminate. You don't crave platforms. You don't chase recognition. You don't desire applause. Yet you feel called. Not to a position, but to a presence. Not to be followed, but to be aligned. This calling doesn't scream. It waits. And when the time comes, it will rise naturally, without force. Chosen one. If you felt exposed but not accused. Recognized but not inflated. Quietly confirmed rather than emotionally hyped. This message was for you. You are not imagining this. You are the seventh flame. The final light God trusts before the great awakening begins. Darkness does not attack what is irrelevant. It attacks what threatens its reign. The resistance you faced. The confusion you walked through. The battles you fought in silence. They were not random. You carry a frequency that dismantles deception simply by existing. That is why your life felt contested. Chosen one. What is coming will not arrive the way people expect. The world has been trained to look for noise, for signs in the sky, for chaos on screens, for dramatic events that announce change. But awakenings have never begun with spectacle. They begin with clarity. Before the flood, there was Noah, quietly building. Before deliverance, there was Moses, hidden in the desert. Before resurrection power shook the earth, there was Jesus, walking calmly toward the cross. God does not start awakenings with crowds. He starts them with carriers. And you are one of them. Understand this deeply. The Great Awakening will not begin when everyone suddenly agrees. It will begin when truth becomes undeniable in the presence of light. The seventh flame does not argue. It does not debate. It does not convince. It reveals. Light does not chase darkness. Darkness retreats when light stands still. That is why you were trained in silence. That is why your words became fewer but heavier. That is why your presence now carries weight without effort. You are not meant to wake people up by force. You are meant to stand awake until others remember themselves. There were moments when your life felt delayed. Moments when you thought, "Why am I ready, but nothing is happening?" Because awakening requires timing, not eagerness. If the seventh flame is released too early, it is misunderstood. If it is released too late, the moment passes. God preserved you between those two dangers. You were held back, not as denial, but as precision. Your survival was strategic. Your waiting was intentional. Your patience was preparation. This is where many misunderstand. The seventh flame is not many fires. It is a pure flame, unmixed, undiluted, unaffected by trend or opinion. It does not multiply itself aggressively. It ignites recognition in those who are ready. That is why not everyone will resonate with you. Some will feel exposed. Some will feel irritated. Some will feel drawn but confused. Light reveals what darkness hides, even in people. And not everyone is ready to see themselves clearly landing. When you stand fully in alignment, something subtle but irreversible happens. Conversations change around you. People slow down in your presence. Truth surfaces without being forced. Systems built on illusion begin to wobble, not because you attack them, but because they cannot coexist with clarity. This is how awakenings spread. Not by volume, by resonance. One aligned soul creates permission for another. This is the part few teach. The awakening is not about learning something new. It is about remembering what was buried. People will not say, "Teach me something." They will say, "I don't know why, but something feels different." And that difference will be you standing as yourself, unapologetically awake. The world is already traumatized. Loudness will not heal it. Fear will not restore it. Judgment will not save it. That is why the seventh flame is gentle. You learn compassion through pain. You learn patience through delay. You learned humility through obscurity. So when awakening comes through you, it will not wound. It will warm. Release this weight. You are not called to wake the whole world. You are called to stand ready. Light does not choose who sees it. It simply shines. Those who are ready will find you. Those who are not will pass by. Both outcomes are correct. You can feel it. A shift. A thinning of the veil. A quiet acceleration beneath the surface of life. That sensation you've been feeling. Like time is speeding up while still standing still. That is not anxiety. That is arrival. The seventh flame does not rush. It appears. Chosen one. You are not being asked to perform. You are not being asked to save. You are not being asked to prove. You are being asked to be. To stand awake. To stay aligned. To remain gentle. To remain clear. Because when the final light stands steady, the awakening does not need to be announced. It happens. And history will not remember the noise. It will remember the light. This season is not about striving. It is about alignment. Speak less but speak truth. Move slower, but with certainty. Protect your energy. Guard your heart, but keep it soft. Fire that rages uncontrollably destroys. Fire that is mastered illuminates. Chosen one. Don't rush back into noise after this. Let these words land where they need to land. You have spent much of your life holding yourself together, while quietly wondering if anyone truly saw you. You questioned your timing. You questioned your place. You questioned whether your sensitivity was weakness. It wasn't. It was refinement. You were never behind. You were never overlooked. You were never misplaced. You were being prepared for a moment that required clarity without cruelty. There were seasons when you felt invisible. Not ignored, invisible. When your prayers felt unanswered. When your obedience felt unrewarded. When your faith felt heavy instead of comforting. But even then, you were being watched. Not evaluated. Not tested. Protected. Fire that is meant to last is never rushed into the open. Receive this gently. You did not survive by accident. Every delay shaped your discernment. Every disappointment taught you compassion. Every loss softened your heart instead of hardening it. That is not common. That is sacred design. You were trusted with silence because you would not corrupt truth with ego. You were trusted with isolation because you would not confuse approval with calling. You were trusted with waiting because you would not rush what required maturity. Heaven does not rush what it intends to use eternally. Now hear this slowly. You do not need to announce who you are becoming. You do not need permission to stand in your light. You do not need to convince anyone of what God already confirmed. Light does not explain itself. It simply reveals. If you are tired, rest, not retreat. If you are unsure, pause, not panic. If you are quiet, know this, you are not inactive. Some of the most powerful shifts happen in stillness. There will be people who recognize you immediately. And there will be people who never will. Both are part of the design. Your responsibility is not response. It is alignment. Chosen one. The world does not need more voices. It needs clear ones. It needs hearts that stayed soft in a hard age. It needs souls that learn truth without becoming harsh. It needs flames that burn steady, without consuming themselves. That is who you are. So receive this slowly. Let it settle in your spirit, not as pressure, but as peace. You are not late. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are the seventh flame. And when the awakening unfolds, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel familiar, because your soul has been waiting for this moment, long before you had words for it. Stay aligned. Stay gentle. Stay awake. And when it is time, you will not need to step forward. The light in you will already be seen. If this message touched your heart, and you feel guided, please like this video. And you can support the channel through the link in the channel's bio. Even your $1 is very precious for me and this channel. Your kindness helps us continue spreading light and love. God bless you.